It's making your partner feel safe. Gosh, that's so huge. There's nothing worse than being in a partnership where you don't feel safe. And I don't just mean an abusive relationship where you physically don't feel safe, but just feeling emotionally, spiritually, and psychologically safe with your partner. And it's that non-judgmental support that you can offer your partner. And that is what real, true support looks like in a true partnership.
Welcome to the Extraordinary Purpose Podcast, where we explore some of the truly difficult questions and challenges that parents and their families face every day. Whether it's the sometimes painful process of parenting teens and young adults, navigating relationships with your partner and children, or you discovering your purpose in relationship with yourself, we will bring heartfelt and vulnerable conversations to the table to support and empower you. Our mission is to help you create a lifestyle full of love, passion, adventure, and influence. Here we go. We're back with the Extraordinary Purpose Podcast. Oh man, I'm looking at Erin and she is full of smiles today. That's a good sign. That means this could be a good one.
It's going to be a good one.
Everybody, I'm Chris and I'm here with the incomparable Erin Vertis, meaning there is no comparison. And I do mean that.
Wow.
And that ties in with today's topic. It's a little bit of a teaser.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm so creative.
You are creative.
It's pretty incredible.
You're good. He's so proud of himself.
And so humble.
No.
How's everybody doing? It's so good to be here. It is the middle of winter, and it has been cold and snowy. And Erin, what have we had going on this week? Just a little bit, right?
Oh my gosh, it's been a lot. I told Chris, I'm going to vent today.
Great. No, that's a good thing. You got to let it out a little bit.
We've had a lot going on. It's only Wednesday.
That's true.
And we have had, my son River's been sick with the flu and high fever. Is this day 3 or 4?
Yeah,
day 3.
Several days.
Just really sick, the poor guy. And Chris had his very first colonoscopy.
Just say it. Just say it.
It is what it is.
I had been putting this off for a while.
Yeah, he's rescheduled. So we've been together for a while. He's literally rescheduled like 3 times, and I don't blame him. It's,
no.
Now that it's in hindsight, it was just yesterday, but you talk about that.
Yeah, no, it was, oh boy, being on the other side of it is such a great perspective and a great feeling. I feel lighter today for many reasons.
Yeah.
But no, the build up to it, it's interesting. And it's a process actually that I'm going to talk about in a solo episode, I think in a few days here. But I think it's so important that we take care of ourselves in so many different ways. I mean, I just turned 50 a little while ago. And with that being said, I don't feel it, but it's a reality that everybody has to look at. And that's not to say that I don't feel like I'm 18 or 20, but you do have to take care of yourself and you do have to maintain things. And most importantly, man, you got to be proactive.
I think that's it. I think there's that fine line between, you'll hear some people say, I don't go to the doctors and get procedures because I don't want to go looking for things.
Yes.
But I do think as you get into your mid to late 40s, 50s, 60s, it's just being proactive. I mean, the cool thing about going to the doctor, we were there yesterday and they asked Chris, all the questions, medications and high sugars. Do you have this? Do you have that? No. So you feel so healthy when you leave an appointment like that because you recognize like he is healthy. I'm healthy. Neither one of us take any pharmaceuticals. We are very healthy, but there's something to be said about staying proactive and just making sure you're on top of those things.
Yeah, I love it. And that's been something, well, since I've met you especially, because you do such a good job.
I try.
Yeah.
I try.
And that inspires me.
Yeah. Thanks, honey.
And I think that kind of ties in now. So do you want to kind of introduce to everybody? Everybody, I think you're in for a treat because this particular topic is something that Erin and I, one, it's near and dear to our heart. 2, it is directly tied to the couples coaching and parent coaching that we are so incredibly passionate about and that we are putting a refocus on in 2026 just because I think everybody needs it.
Yep.
Every relationship needs what we're going to talk about today.
So today we're going to talk about the real power of supporting your partner as you grow together. And so when I say that, I mean as you grow together as a unit and as one, but as you grow together as individuals within a partnership as well. So a lot here today that we're going to talk about. And we're going to talk about how to support your partner through some really challenging life situations And then right down to how do you support your partner's interests in life and their goals and dreams and their passions. And so we're going to open up with a little story about how Chris really supported me early on in our relationship. And so I just think this is hopefully us sharing some things from our personal lives will do a couple things. Either inspire you if you've been in a relationship for a long time. Sometimes we can lose sight of the goodness and how we support our partners and be proud of ourselves and celebrate how well we're doing together. So hopefully it'll inspire some of that. Or maybe you're not showing up in your relationship and you're not supporting each other, or you're not supporting your partner in the way that you really want to. Maybe this will inspire that.
Yes.
Yes.
Because once again, and I love where we're getting ready to go, I think everybody's going to get so much out of this, but you have to think back, and maybe this is helpful, Erin. Like, think back right now before Erin even kicks off her story, just to when you first met your husband, or you first met your wife, or just first met your partner.
Yeah.
And just the person that you met and the way that you felt and the way that you looked at them and the things that you saw in them, all of those things, reconnect with that. Take a minute and reconnect with that partner that you saw back then, because we're going to go back into that place and try to move forward now.
Yeah. And that's why Chris and I love doing these podcasts because as I was thinking about this earlier, it just brought back so much. I actually got like tears in my eyes as I was thinking about this story, because we forget these things. That's why what Chris just said is so important. You have to go back and remember these things, because it helped me see that what we went through early on in our relationship, the person I've become because of that, and the foundation for our relationship was built then. When Chris and I first met, I think I've shared this in some of my solo podcasts. I was a single mom at the time, and I had come out of a pretty toxic relationship with their dad. Not too long before I met Chris. It had been a couple years, I think, but it had been a long time in toxic environment and in that relationship. And during that time, I just developed unhealthy coping skills. Although I still meditated and I've always had this sort of spiritual foundation in my life, I started drinking a lot and developed a drinking issue that kind of like would come and go and ebb and flow. And so when I met Chris, I was still struggling with that. And Chris is somebody who, bless his heart, has never touched a drug in his life. Really could care less about drinking. I think he likes to have a beer if he goes to see a concert.
Does that make me boring, by the way?
Not at all,
okay.
Honey. I have no question the universe brought him specifically to me, because that has not been an issue for us. And now being an alcohol-free environment and lifestyle and couple. But I was struggling with a lot of that. So a lot of uncertainty, not really believing in myself, really scared, not knowing how to handle this stuff I was dealing with in my life. And Chris came along and he walked through it with me. He supported me unconditionally. He never once tried to fix me. He never once tried to tell me how he thought I should handle this situation. And as you probably have learned about me by now, especially if you listen to my solo podcast, I'm a pretty unconventional person. And so I walk my own path in life. I've always been that way. When what works for the herd of people or what's out there is supposed to work for everyone doesn't work for me, I don't go with it. I find my own path and I self-educate myself, and I keep searching till I find what fits me, for better or for worse. And so in many ways that's been great, because it's helped me learn so much, and I've learned to be a self-educator, and I love that about myself. And I think some things probably people have looked at me and said, why can't you just do what everyone else does and make it a lot easier on yourself?
I'm sure.
And Chris never, ever, ever did that when other people around me were saying those things or weren't understanding why I wasn't just dealing with this in a conventional way, going into recovery or something, and labeling myself in a way that a lot of other people do. And that's fine if that's your journey. It just wasn't going to be mine. And so I had to find my own path, and Chris stood by me and supported me and never let those issues, the toxic relationship, the drinking problem, he never let that define me. And he loved me unconditionally and just gave me room to heal and to grow and to find my own way. And I think in hindsight now, years later, like my kids got to watch that. They got to watch this incredible man come into my life and stand by my side and give me the space to do these incredible things for myself. yourself. And that really built such a foundation for us, for me, of just trust, like the deepest trust I've ever had with anyone, that I could trust my life with Chris and my heart with him, and that unconditional love, that vulnerability. And so that's the kind of support that we're talking about, when, you know, you can show up for your partner in that way of not worrying about you are on an island together. It's the two of you supporting each other. It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing out there, what anyone else is saying. It's you having each other's back, your ride or die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. It's hard to even respond to that because some of this was just natural. I think when I met Erin, everything changed. I had also gotten out of a unhealthy, not so positive marriage a few years earlier. So that's where I was coming from. And I didn't know exactly what I was looking for. I think Erin had a little bit more clarity in terms of what she wanted and the type of person that she wanted in her life. And I think I was still trying to figure that out. But the truth is that when I met her in the restaurant for our very first date, I just knew. That's a really difficult thing to even put into words or even to process sometimes, because it was more of a feeling. But easiest way to describe it, when her and I were having dinner, having the best time ever, and we were just talking. And the thing that I noticed right out of the gate is that for the first time ever, and this is true for me, not for Erin, is we were being vulnerable with each other, like completely open and honest. And I think we have been for the most part, our entire relationship. But it started on day one, was this raw, honest vulnerability. And I found it so attractive. Like Erin's beautiful, right? But this to me is the real beauty of Erin, is she's completely vulnerable. And so what you see is what you get. And I had never experienced that before with anybody else in my life. And it changed me. In the moment, it changed me because I saw the real Erin, and I'm pretty sure she saw the real me. And when I say I saw the real her, I saw everything. The good, the challenges that she's going through, had been going through. But also, do you know what I saw? I saw the future. I saw her future, not just ours. I think that came a little bit later, but I saw her future. And I knew I wanted to be a part of it. I knew I wanted to be a part of it because she was this incredible, amazing woman. And there was no way in hell that something like a drinking problem or a toxic marriage or any other challenge was going to define her. That's not what I saw. That's not what I saw even remotely close. I saw somebody that was so incredibly beautiful and talented and had so much going for her. And I'm like, holy moly, this is going to be an incredible journey. If I'm privileged enough to be a part of it, I'm going to be a part of it in any way possible.
Honey, I'm going to cry.
Oh.
It's been an incredible journey, that's for sure. And so I just want to say, I know this probably may or may not sound like it just was all roses and we figured it all out. It was a long journey. It took some time, and we're still figuring it out. You guys know, maybe you've been married for 30 years and you're still learning about your partner and figuring it out. I hope that's something that was sort of one of our taglines for our Empowered Couple program, was just that you're always wanting to learn more about your partner. But real support is just that. It's not control. It's not fixing. It's not pushing your beliefs. I mean, Chris may or may not have had his own ideas about what he thought I should or shouldn't have done at different times. And I do the same with him. But we don't project those onto each other. He certainly doesn't. I do often. Sorry, honey, that's not true.
That's okay. No?
But he's never projected onto me, this is what I think you should do. Real support is about what he just said. It's believing in someone. It's seeing their potential. It's about being patient. And again, another one of Chris's amazing qualities is patience. It's making your partner feel safe. Gosh, that's so huge. There's nothing worse than being in a partnership where you don't feel safe.
Right.
And I don't just mean an abusive relationship where you physically don't feel safe, but just feeling emotionally, spiritually, and psychologically safe with your partner. And it's that non-judgmental support that you can offer your partner. And that is what real, true support looks like in a true partnership.
So I think a lot of couples, especially with time, they go off on their own journeys. And I think a lot of what we believe in is that, yes, you want to be on your own journey. You want to learn and grow individually. But as Erin mentioned a few minutes ago, a big part of this, of really reaching your full potential, your full capabilities, and you can do some incredible things, especially when you're in a partnership, especially when you have your ride or die with you, that imperfections and all is there for you no matter what crazy ideas you have. Guess what? They're going to come along for the journey, and vice versa. You're having a bad day, they're there for you. You're having a good day, they're there for you. You know, you make a mistake, they still believe in you. They lift you back up. That's a partnership. Something that I know I've talked about on podcasts before. One of the very first self-help mantras that I ever truly leaned into is, you can't do this alone. You can't do this alone. And when you first met your partner, you probably didn't feel alone. Like, you were together and you were connected and you talked and you worked through things. And then something happens sometimes in relationships. Something really peculiar is that stops or it slows down. And that's when that disconnection happens. And that's what we're trying to prevent, or we're trying to come back together again, because we believe that most couples are capable of being saved, capable of reaching your full potential with the right ingredients.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, then we start to think about those changes over time and some of the bigger things that can sometimes feel really challenging to support. And so I just want to call out like some of these areas of life that maybe some of you are in right now. And one I'll just bring up right out of the gate here is parenting, because Chris and I, as you know, are a blended family. He has his 2 boys. I have my daughter Skylar and my son River, and we have had to work on this. So any of you who are a blended family, and especially when you met just when your kids were just a little bit older, I think it's one thing when you meet when they're tiny, right? Toddlers or even preschoolers. But when you meet when they're like 9, 10, 11, all the way up through adolescence, like you've already done some parenting, and you've probably done some parenting with your ex-partner. Yeah. And so it can be challenging. And one place where Chris and I had to really learn how to support each other is we used to judge each other a lot. Yeah. We would judge each other's parenting. He had things to say about the kind of mom I was sometimes. What if he didn't always agree with things I did with my kids, and vice versa? I thought he should be doing more of this or that. And we just don't do that anymore. I think we recognized over time, parenting is so hard to begin with. And sometimes I would say this to him, I don't want to argue with you about something that's already so hard. We are supposed to be best friends. We're supposed to be supporting each other through these hard times. And it is the hardest job on the planet. And so we've gotten so good at just supporting each other. And rather than judging, like I have learned how to recognize that Chris is just a very patient human being. He's very calm. And I used to say, you're not proactive enough. You're not doing enough. Right. You're not saying enough. You have to be more hands-on. And I've learned over the years that his parenting is just fine the way it is. It works well for his kids. What I do is my way. And so I think, and so that goes not just for blended families, obviously. No matter even if you have kids together and your kids are young adults now, you're still parenting. It's really supporting. You can be parents that share kids together and still be very different types of parents, but supporting each other's parenting styles is so important.
Yeah, and I think something that really comes to mind is just this is when having a shared purpose or a shared vision is so important. Because when you know, what are we working towards? What are we working towards together? That's that goal. That's that, that thing that's so beautiful and so exciting, and it's unique to you and your relationship with your partner. And there's so many different ways to get there. And so when you're talking about differences of perspectives and ideas and ways of doing things, of course, we're all individual. We're all unique. We're all different. We all have different ideas and different values and different beliefs. But that shared purpose is the thing that you have in common. And that's what you're working towards. And the other part of it, all the differences, yeah, you have to take a step back and you have to learn how to accept those differences and understand that back to being a partnership. Do you want people on your team that are all alike? Same skills and same values and same experiences and same ways of thinking? No, you don't. The way that you get better is you have somebody on your team that has some things different than you because you don't have all the answers. Mm-hmm. You don't always know what the right thing to do. Not that they do either, but that's how you collaborate and that's how you develop a true partnership.
Yeah, I think it's just really finding each other's strengths, finding each other's gifts and talents and letting those shine.
Yeah.
Letting those shine. And so, some other areas are career shifts. When partners decide to take on a new career or step back from a career or step back from a safe career and start a business, that can be really, really challenging. Chris and I came together as entrepreneurs, and so that's just been a natural thing for us, even though it's not easy. So if you are a couple who is in the business together, you know what that's like. That can be extremely challenging. But also just career shifts can be really, really hard as well. And really supporting your partner, being patient, trusting. That's where that trust comes in, is you have to be able to trust that your partner knows who they are and what's best for them.
Yeah. And so I'm going to take you back real quick, everybody, to once again, that first date I had with Erin. She was amazing on day one, but she's a million times more amazing. Here we are 5 years into the relationship than she was on day one, if that's even possible. But it is. And so the point I'm trying to get across there is that your partner is going to evolve. They're going to change, okay, with or without you. And we prefer with. Like that's kind of why we're all here and we're having this conversation. We prefer with because it is nice. It's a great feeling. It's a wonderful feeling to be a part of your partner's journey and for them to be a part of yours. So as they're going through different careers and different jobs, they're growing, they're moving forward. You're a big part of that. Whoever it is listening to this podcast, you're a big part of that. They're going through different challenges. They're learning more about themselves, just as you're learning more about them too. And so there's a big choice here for all of us to make if you're in a relationship is, do you want to grow with them or do you want to grow apart? Mm-hmm. And that's really at the core of this, what this is all about, because they're not going to stay the same. They haven't stayed the same. If you've been married for 20 years, your partner is not the same as they were 20 years ago. What have you done to stay connected along that journey?
Yeah, and I think a lot of this is about the willingness to be vulnerable with your partner, to be honest with them about the phases of evolution that you're going through. Mm-hmm. I'm listening to an incredible book right now by Dr. Mindy Peltz called Age Like a Girl. Yeah. She wrote Fast Like a Girl. I think Like a Girl is her brand, and she has several books now, but it's all about different stages that girls and women go through hormonally. And this one specifically touches on menopause, but she really highlights the need that women have to become completely different human beings after menopause. They change so much neurologically, hormonally. And so she's been with her husband since their early 20s, and she became someone he didn't recognize. All of a sudden, she needed all this time to herself. She went and rented a home somewhere in California for like 4 months so she could write her book. And she just needed a lot of distance to rediscover herself and figure out who she was in this whole next phase of her life. And she was able to share that with him, though. She's obviously a self-educator, and she learned about herself, and she was willing to be vulnerable and share with him. And he was willing to support her by asking, so tell me about this new version of yourself. When she said that on the audiobook, I literally started crying in the car because I think that's so beautiful. Like, tell me about her. Yeah. And so it was such a beautiful example of what that can look like when we're willing to share and be open and honest with our partner. Like, listen, I'm shifting, I'm changing as I'm aging, as I'm growing. I want new things. I'm after different goals and dreams now. And Chris and I kind of a rare example because we're together every day. We do business together, life together, run our home together, but not everyone
can't get rid of her.
I know. Some people have careers where they're traveling and they're separated a lot and they're not as connected as we are, which some people have said they could never work with their partner the way Chris and I do.
Yeah.
And so you may not be with your partner like that on a daily basis where you are constantly in their space. So if you're not, and you do have a lot of distance, it's so important to stay connected and to share with each other where you are and where you're changing.
I love that. It's almost like, and I think we have to do this consistently. You and I need to do this consistently, is you need to have a date night on that calendar. Maybe it's every couple of weeks, maybe it's at least once a month, where you reintroduce yourself to each other. Mm-hmm. You have those deep, honest, vulnerable conversations. You share what's going on in your life, what's going well, but also what's not going well, what you're struggling with, what you're thinking about, what you're interested in, which we want to kind of talk about that, because each of us has our own passions and our own interests and things that we love and things that we need and things that we enjoy. And as Erin said, we don't always get time and space for that. And that's something that I know that Erin and I think we do a really good job of that. Can we do better? Of course. I think there's areas of my life that I want to lean into more as I continue to grow and evolve. Erin, I'm sure there's things that you want to continue to lean into and try out and evolve. Can you think of any examples?
I was just thinking that something that Chris and I talked about for the new year is holding each other more accountable for our personal goals. So last year, I really wanted to dive into my book. I wanted to write, and I didn't get to it for several reasons. It's time. It's like I got caught in my head about having the right through line throughout all my stories. And all of a sudden the year was up. Yeah. And so I said to Chris this year, I said, I really need you to help me. And whether that means like saying, you need to get out of here. Go find a writer's retreat for 2 weeks if you need to, and go, and I'll take care of things around here. If you need to go get that started, if it's in your heart, if you know it's something you have to do, and if you know you come to the end of your life and that's not done, you're going to be miserable. I'm going to help you get out of here and go find time. If it means reminding you to block off certain times throughout the week at home so you can do it, that I'll take care of the dishes or making dinner those nights or whatever. So that's what support can look like too for Chris. I mean, he'll share some things of his own, but he's a runner, as you all know, and he's not running right now a lot because it's been 20 below and freezing here and snow and ice everywhere. But when he does run, he'll say, I'm sorry, I got to go for my run. I know you hate that. And I'm like, no, I don't. I love supporting his running. But for anyone who trains or has a partner who trains for marathons and half marathons, it's a lot that takes up a lot of their time in the evenings and stuff like that and on the weekends. But I support that for him because it's what lights him up. It's what keeps him growing. He loves challenging himself. He loves growing to the next level. And I love him so deeply that I want that for him. I want him to be happy and feel evolved and feel accomplished and challenged. And so that's what that support can look like.
Yeah. And I think at the core of this, again, it's like individually, we are different. Okay. We have our own goals. Okay. We have a shared goal too, or shared goals too, but it's such an important thing. Like when I met Erin, again, like she has a story to tell. It's going to be one of the most powerful stories ever. I truly believe that. And I think that I need to be a better partner to help her create the space for that, because she's also a very busy mom. She's an entrepreneur. We're moving a million miles a minute, like all of you are too. However, there is time. Yeah. There is time for these really important things. And there's especially time, by the way, when your partner is helping and your partner is supporting, your partner is believing in you, because you know what? That takes a little bit of that pressure off your shoulders. And then she can breathe and I can breathe. I have big goals for myself. Like Erin's right. Like a big thing for me is I want to have new experiences. I want to get out and I want to do some races. I'm 50. We talked about that earlier, unfortunately. So that's elephants out of the room. But I'm 50 and I've got this mindset that I'm not going to let that define me. And so a big theme for 2026 this year is I want to prove that. I want to go out and do things that put my mind, body, and spirit to the test. Yeah. Not against other people, more just to prove it to myself. And Erin believes in that version of me. She's very supportive of that version of me.
I do. And I'm sitting here thinking, though, that we need to do this too, babe.
Sure.
I don't think like we have goals for business. We have goals. There's trips we want to take and there's things like that. But those more distant goals or the deeper rooted things that we really want to do, even Chris and I, we get too busy. We get so caught up in the everyday life.
Oh,
like,
sure.
I bet there are things going on in your mind of things. I know there's races he wants to do and different kinds of adventurous races he wants to get into it. We need to talk more about that. So it's so important to take that time to share with your partner where you're at, what you want to do, and to feel safe doing that. There's nothing worse than saying, I want to tell him this, but I might sound ridiculous, or he might laugh at me or think this is stupid. And I know where we've worked with couples. We know a lot of couples, they go through life feeling that way, that they can't share honestly with their partner because they're afraid of they're going to be rejected or humiliated or laughed at or something like that. And you have to feel safe being able to share your deeper desires and dreams and goals.
That's why we're such big proponents of heartfelt conversations. Where you are scheduling time, because Erin's right, you're busy, we're busy. Like it's nonstop action. Erin's got work all day and then she's got school pickup and then she's got 3 hours of volleyball today. So it's
Don't remind
life.
me.
The nightmare continues. But the whole point is that you schedule this time for you and your partner to connect, to go deep, to be vulnerable with each other, to take off the mask and just be real and talk about your hopes and your dreams and your challenges. And you just love each other and see each other for who you really are. Get back to that way that you felt and the way that you saw your partner when you first met.
Yeah, so if I hope this is tugging on your heartstrings a little or inspiring you or maybe bringing up some memories for you, remember, if you're listening to this, go to your partner tonight and thank them. Think about a time when they really supported you, when you felt safe, or maybe do continue to really go deep with yourself and think about the ways your partner supports you, how your gratitude for that, and express it to them.
Yeah.
It's so easy to take those things for granted. And we want to close this with really talking about what this models for our kids. We talk a lot about modeling things for our kids. And I know we've talked about this in relationships before, but when your kids watch over the months and years that build up of you supporting each other, what that does for them, it etches something into their nervous system, into their soul. And it starts to paint a picture for them of what they want in their relationship, how they're going to go out and choose a partner and treat that partnership. It's so important to make sure we're modeling that.
Yeah, because you're creating an environment where, you're influencing everything and everyone around you just by being more intentional about some of these things. And so I think that what Erin and I are probably going to do is in a future episode, which we love to throw those teasers out there, we're probably going to talk specifically about how you can support your kids. Because I know that you're probably thinking like, well, how can I do this for my child as well? Well, you can do it, right? And it's a powerful thing. But we wanted to start with you and your partner because that is where it starts. That's what we believe, okay, is if we want to help our kids the most, it starts with us. And so, we're going to talk about how we can communicate and support our kids, but we wanted to make sure that your relationship, which is one of the most important things out there, is getting the attention that it deserves, that you're reaching your potential as a couple that you deserve, that you're finding that shared purpose that is going to be so incredibly exciting, by the way, for your kids too, because your kids are part of that shared purpose.
Absolutely. And I also just want to say, if you're thinking about how you support your partner all the time and you don't feel supported in return, you can have that conversation, but just remember that give more of what you want to receive. When we kind of are in that space of like, well, I'm not getting what I want, give more of it. And I promise over time, you will start to receive that, or you will finally get to a point where you recognize that you deserve a partnership and a relationship that does give that. But just give that support, continue supporting your partner, and it will come back tenfold.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this was a good one, Erin.
It was good.
I love
you,
it.
babe.
I love you too,
and
sweetheart.
We love you guys so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in. God, there's so much to look forward to. We appreciate you listening to our podcast, listening to us. We want for you to know that, yes, Erin and I love talking to you, but this is an environment for you so that you can take some time out of your week, some time out of your day, and just start to focus on the most important thing that there is, which is you. You, your relationship, your life, your kids. How often do you get that time? That's what this podcast is all about. So keep tuning in because there's so much more to come. So many great conversations, great topics, and a lot of other fun stuff.
Awesome, guys. Listen, have an amazing week, and we will see you next week.
Goodbye, everybody.
Take care. We are so thankful for you and your beautiful family and hope you found something inside today's episode that brought you hope, inspiration, and most importantly, a path forward. If you're interested in evolving your relationship, giving your kids the most important gift of personal growth and development, or are a mom looking to reconnect with your confidence and become empowered in all areas of your life, then schedule a discovery call with us today. Our mission is to help as many families as possible find their purpose, and that starts with you. See you in the next episode, my friends.